All right, so get this, the world of theater. It's all about drama, creativity, human connection, right?
Hmm.
Well, hold on to your hats, folks, because in this deep dive, we're going to explore how AI, specifically ChatGPT, is shaking things up on stage.
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, we're talking script writing, character development, even directing. The sources you gave me suggest that this isn't just a gimmick, this is real change happening.
It really is fascinating how AI tools, like the ChatGPT we're talking about today, are really weaving their way into the creative process, giving new possibilities to everyone involved, playwrights, actors,
Right.
directors.
And let's start with maybe the most obvious one, script writing. I was reading through the source material, and it's saying that ChatGPT is way more than just a shortcut. It's not just about getting over writer's block. It's like having a brainstorming partner.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. This AI can spitball ideas, it can suggest twists you wouldn't expect, and it can even help refine dialogue.
Exactly. It's wild.
And what's really powerful about it is it kind of democratizes access to, dramatic structure. You don't need to have years of training to grasp how to tell a story because this AI assistant can basically analyze plays, those classic plays, and pull out those core elements. I mean, there are even these prompts like write a tense dialogue between two estranged friends who meet at a funeral.
Oh, wow.
Right. And so you could have a playwright who's just starting out and they use that as a springboard to explore, like, grief, forgiveness,
Uh-huh.
maybe even throw in some dark humor.
Right. That's a great example. But it also makes me think, if we rely too much on these AI prompts, will all the stories start to feel the same?
Mm,
Like, will we lose that originality, that unique voice?
that's a good question. And it's definitely a valid concern, right? Because anytime a new technology pops up, there's always that risk that it might limit creativity instead of opening things up. But I think it really comes down to how these tools are used.
Mhm.
A skilled playwright can take a prompt and really twist it, turn it on its head, make it their own.
So it's more like a starting point then, like a jumping off point for their own creativity.
Exactly. And don't forget, there are playwrights from all kinds of backgrounds. Some haven't had access to mentorship or traditional training, but now they can use these AI tools to get better
Mm.
and really put their stories out there for the world to see.
That's a fantastic point. It's almost like AI is leveling the playing field a bit.
Hmm.
Now, let's talk about character development. There was this one prompt that really stuck with me. It was about creating a villain with like this distorted sense of justice.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one. Because immediately, it's not just a bad guy? It forces you to think about what made this person this way.
Yeah.
It's like what events in their life twisted their view of the world.
Right, right, right.
So suddenly you're dealing with moral ambiguity, you're challenging the audience, you're creating a character that people maybe hate, but they also understand on some level.
It's that empathy piece, isn't it? Even if we don't agree with what a villain is doing,
Hmm.
if we get why they're doing it, they become more real, more human.
Exactly. Exactly. And as the source points out, that makes the whole thing so much more powerful for the audience.
And thought-provoking, for sure. I mean, it makes me think of those classic plays where you have those deeply flawed characters, but you can't help but connect with them.
Yeah.
Like Death of a Salesman.
Oh, perfect example. Those plays wouldn't work if the characters were just purely good or purely evil.
Right.
It's the stuff in between, the contradictions that make them so fascinating. And with AI, we can dive even deeper into all of that.
Okay, so we've got script writing, character development. Let's move on to how AI is actually helping actors during the rehearsal process. The source suggests that ChatGPT can be used to unlock like hidden layers within their characters by using certain prompts.
Yeah, yeah. Imagine an actor who's just having trouble connecting with a certain emotion in a scene. They could use ChatGPT to guide them through exercises to explore the character's past, their motivations, even those emotions they're trying to keep buried deep down.
But wouldn't that make the performance feel artificial?
Yeah.
Like the actors just following a script from a machine instead of using their own intuition.
Well, and this is important to remember, AI is just a tool. It's not replacing the actor's talent.
Hmm.
It's just giving them a framework to work with, a different way to think about the character.
So it's more about giving the actor a fresh perspective, not telling them how to act.
Yes, exactly. And think about this too. Actors who don't have access to acting coaches, they can use these tools to really improve their craft.
That's a great point. It's like having a virtual coach available all the time. I'm starting to see how this could be really helpful.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about directing. The source mentioned how ChatGPT can be used to like break those traditional theater conventions and create truly unique productions.
Yeah, and that's where things get really exciting. I mean, one of the examples that jumped out at me was reimagining Hamlet, Shakespeare's Hamlet, but in a futuristic setting. Think about it, you could use multimedia, experiment with the storyline, really challenge what people expect from a Shakespearean play.
Wow, yeah. It's bold. It's like theater needs to adapt to keep up with the world, right?
But how would ChatGPT actually be used in the process? Like, would it be writing the dialogue, designing the set?
It could do all of that, potentially,
Yeah.
but what it's really good at is helping directors come up with new ideas, visualize different approaches, push the boundaries of what's possible on stage.
So it's like a creative catalyst sparking their imagination.
Exactly. It's a way to explore uncharted territory.
I can see how that would be freeing, especially for directors who want to break free from those old school rules. But I also wonder, is there a risk of losing what makes theater special? That connection between the performers and the audience. That's a great point. And it's something the source brings up. It's not about getting rid of that human element. It's about making it even better.
Okay.
It's about using AI to create more immersive, engaging experiences for everyone.
Okay, I'm starting to see the potential here.
Yeah.
So AI is impacting script writing, character development, even directing. Wow. But I'm really curious about actual examples. Like, what are some specific productions that are using ChatGPT right now?
Oh, there are some amazing ones out there. We'll dive into those after a quick break. It really is amazing. We're not just talking about possibilities anymore. There are real productions out there using AI in such creative ways.
Yeah, before the break, we were discussing interactive theater and how the audience can actually shape the story. I'm curious about how those choices actually play out on stage. Is it like just tweaking the dialogue a bit, or can it lead to completely different scenes?
It can be both. And that's what makes it so cool, right? There are shows where ChatGPT is generating little changes in the dialogue based on what the audience is doing, so each person is getting a unique experience. But then you have companies that are going even further.
Oh, wow.
They're using AI to create entire scenes, different plot twists even, all based on what the audience decides.
So, like, one night, the main character might choose revenge, and another night, they choose forgiveness, all because of how the audience voted.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes beyond that. Imagine a set that physically transforms based on the audience's choices because of AI,
Wow.
or the lighting and sound change to match the mood that the audience is creating.
That's incredible. But I have to ask, wouldn't that be so much pressure on the actors? How do they even prepare for a performance when the script is constantly changing?
Well, that's where their skill really comes in. It's not just about memorizing lines anymore. It's like improvisation taken to a whole new level. They have to be ready for anything the audience throws at them.
Wow. Yeah. That must take so much trust between everyone, the actors, the director, even the AI itself.
Oh, absolutely. It's a collaboration, and everyone has to be willing to embrace the unexpected. That's what makes it so exciting, though. It's like this fusion of human creativity and technology.
Now, the source also mentioned a production of Romeo and Juliet, the classic play, where they used ChatGPT to create these personalized sonnets for every single person in the audience.
Oh, yes.
I'm curious, how did they pull that off? Did the audience even know they were getting AI-generated poetry?
So it sounds like they presented it as like a special pre-show experience. They
Right.
all got the sonnets on their phones or through those interactive kiosks you see in the lobby.
Right, right.
And each sonnet was tailored to the person's name, their interests, even stuff from their social media if they opted in.
Wow, that's personalization on a whole other level.
Yeah.
But did it actually add to the experience? Or did it just feel like a gimmick?
People really loved it. They said it made them feel more connected to the play's themes,
Yeah.
love, fate, all that. It was like those sonnets gave them a personal entry point into the story.
I love that. It's like AI is creating this more intimate connection between the audience and the performance.
Yeah, and it's not just about that. ChatGPT can also make theater more accessible in general.
Mhm.
Think about real-time translation or captioning.
Hmm.
Suddenly, people who couldn't experience live theater before, maybe because of language barriers or hearing difficulties, they can now participate.
That's fantastic. It's breaking down those barriers. But, there's always that worry that these AI systems will start replacing people's jobs in the theater industry, right?
It's a valid concern, yeah. Anytime you have new technology, people worry about that. But it seems like the goal is to use AI to work alongside people, not to replace them. Like
Mhm.
those translation systems we talked about, they're not meant to get rid of human interpreters completely.
No.
They're there to give more people access, especially in smaller venues or for productions that don't have a lot of money.
So it's about finding that balance,
Yes.
right? Using the power of AI, but not losing that human touch.
Exactly. And think about all the people who want to work in theater but haven't had the chance. Imagine a young writer, maybe from a small town, and thanks to tools like ChatGPT, they can get feedback on their scripts, connect with mentors, all that. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's like AI is opening doors.
Yeah.
Suddenly the stage is bigger, there are more voices being heard.
Yeah, and that's where it gets really interesting, right? Because AI in theater isn't just about technology. It's about changing how we think about what theater can be.
Okay, tell me more.
Well, most plays follow that traditional structure. The story unfolds in a straight line. But with AI, we can create these non-linear experiences. The audience can jump between different times, see things from multiple perspectives, maybe even change the order of events.
Wow, it's like those choose your own adventure books, but on stage.
Exactly. And AI can also help us blend fiction and reality, bringing in real-time data, letting the audience interact, maybe even using augmented reality.
Okay, now my mind is really racing.
Hmm.
But with all this, I can't help but wonder, are we going to lose that raw emotional connection that makes live theater so powerful?
Hmm.
Will people still be moved if they know it's all being run by algorithms?
That's the big question, isn't it? I don't think we can truly answer it until we've had more time to experiment. But I believe that the human element will always be at the heart of theater.
Mm,
Technology can make it better, but it can't replace the magic that happens when actors, a director, and an audience come together to share a story.
you're right. It's that human connection that makes theater so special. But I'm really excited to see what the future holds, how AI will continue to shape this art form.
Me too. And the most exciting part is we're just getting started. The next few years are going to be wild, artists and technologists working together to create something totally new. But let's take a breath for a second. We've talked about so much, from those personalized sonnets to AI set design. When we come back, I want to dig into some specific productions that are really pushing the boundaries.
All right, I'm ready for those examples. We've talked about the potential, but what's actually happening out there in the theater world?
So there's this one play called Mirror, Mirror, and the whole idea is just, well, it's fascinating. It's like a thriller, but it's all about the main character's deepest fears and desires. And get this, those fears are brought to life on stage by an AI system.
Okay, now that's both cool and a little bit creepy, right?
Right. And the AI, it analyzes the character's online activity, social media, even their browsing history.
Oh, wow. So it's really tapping into their personal data.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so unique. No two performances are the same. The AI changes the script, the set, even how the actors perform, all in real time based on the data it's gathering about the audience.
It's like the audience is part of the play,
Yeah.
shaping it as it goes.
Exactly. It's
Mm.
really breaking down that wall between the audience and the performance. And what's interesting is the play ended up making people think a lot about privacy and how our data is being used, which is a whole other conversation, right?
Yeah, it is. It's
Yeah.
like AI isn't just changing theater. It's making us rethink a lot of things about technology and, well, just being human.
Absolutely. And those are important questions. But let's stick with the creative side for now. Another production that's really interesting is a musical called Algorithm and Blues.
That title alone is amazing. What's that one about?
Well, it's kind of exploring the relationship between humans and AI, but through music. And what's really cool is the cast is made up of both human actors and virtual characters powered by AI.
Hold on. Virtual characters sharing the stage with real people. How does that even work?
Oh, it's pretty high tech. The virtual characters are projected onto this giant LED screen, like a whole wall of the stage, and they're animated using motion capture, so they move really realistically. And their dialogue, that's all generated by AI, responding to what the human actors are doing.
Wow. I mean, is the music AI generated too?
You got it. It's a mix of traditional musical theater stuff and then these, like, soundscapes created by AI.
It's really making me think about how those lines are getting blurry,
Yeah.
between the digital world and the real world.
Yeah, and that's what makes the musical so powerful. It's not just about the technology. It's about what it means to be human in a world where AI is becoming more and more a part of our lives.
So we've got the psychological thriller playing with our data in a musical about humans and AI. What other examples are out there?
Oh, there's a dance company using AI to actually choreograph the dances. They've got this system that studies the dancers' movements and comes up with new steps in real time.
No way. So the AI is like a choreographer.
Yeah, it's like a collaboration between the dancers and the AI.
That's wild. And the source also mentions some experimental theater groups using AI to write entire plays based on what the audience wants.
Oh, yeah. They have this platform where people can suggest themes, characters, plot points. Then the AI takes all that and creates a whole story.
It's like the audience is the writer, and the AI is just helping them put it all together.
And the results are really unexpected sometimes. Because the AI isn't limited by the same things as a human playwright.
That's what's so exciting about it, right? It can take us to places we wouldn't have thought of on our own.
Exactly. AI is not here to replace creativity. It's here to make it bigger, to help us see things in new ways.
You know, when we started this deep dive, I had a lot of questions about AI in theater. But after hearing about all these productions, I'm actually feeling really optimistic.
Me too. AI has the potential to make theater more accessible, more engaging, more relevant to people today.
And at the end of the day, it's reminding us what theater is all about, right?
Yeah,
Human connection, sharing stories, exploring those big questions that we've always asked ourselves.
exactly. And AI, it's not taking away from that, it's making it stronger.
That's a great way to put it. So, to our listeners out there, the next time you're in a theater, take a moment to really soak it all in. But also, look a little closer. You might just see the future of storytelling unfolding right in front of you,
Mm.
a future where human creativity and AI work together to create something truly magical.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive, but the conversation doesn't end here. We'd love to hear what you think about AI in theater. What are your hopes, your fears, your predictions for the future? Share your thoughts. And until next time, thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of AI and storytelling.